Hey y'all, thanks for joining me. My name is Dawson Davies, aka Double D. This is The Hedge with Double D.
The Hedge with Double D.
So thank y'all for joining me. This is my inaugural, the first episode. So let me give you a quick little introduction about myself, little background. Um, so I've been a big sports fan my whole life. I grew up watching the Packers. As you can see, the Packers are my team. I grew up with just fell in love with the Packers, so I just stayed loyal fan to them. Football is probably my main sport. So with the Packers, I started following Wisconsin Badgers. They were my college team I picked as a kid, and I just kind of kept with that. I've been from Tennessee or lived in Tennessee my whole life, but Wisconsin and a Packers fan. Um, Basketball is my next favorite sport. I wouldn't say I have like a team. The Badgers for college, but for pro, I don't really have a team I follow. More like players I really like, and they always are switching teams anyways. Um, right now, Lillard is my favorite player, so the Trailblazers are my team, but who knows where he'll be next year. My favorite overall has got to be Iverson. You can see behind me, I had that since I was a kid. I was always a little point guard, so he was the guy I liked. I could relate to him. Um, So that's my sporting background. Football and basketball by far my favorites, but honestly, once we get into the playoff time, I can watch any sport. Once it's win or go home, I can watch golf, hockey, tennis, whatever. Gambling wise, I mainly only bet on football and basketball. If they give me a little get your money back bet on something, I might throw something down for fun. But football and basketball are my go-tos. And that's what we're going to talk mostly on this pod or on this YouTube channel podcast. I'm not even sure what it's going to be yet, but on this show. And I'm going to have friends joining me as much as possible. Today, I've got Tony with me. I'll let him introduce himself in a second. First, let me give, a couple, call them bona fides in terms of gambling. I'm never going to say anything's a sure thing when it's gambling. Sometimes I feel confident about my picks, but nothing's a sure thing. This is all for fun. We're going to do this responsibly and have fun. We're assuming every bet is $10. Every time we say something, we're going to say that we're betting $10 on everything. That way, if you win, maybe you win 30, 40 bucks here and there. And if you lose, you only lose $10. Obviously, gambling's not been legal in Tennessee for a long time, but it just became legal recently, the last couple of years. I've always been interested in gambling, the numbers, how they do that, just very interesting. But since it's become legal, I've loved it. In terms of bona fides, I guess I've never lost money throughout the year. The first year that it was legal here in Tennessee, I won a lot because we got all the free bets and all those promos and everything, which is really the time to jump on it. And then ever since then, every year, I've never lost money. I've always ended up in the green, which is awesome. It feels fun. I'm not really making a whole lot of money, but I'm never losing anything, and I'm having a lot of fun, which is what it's about for me. I think if you start turning this into trying to make a lot of money, that's when you're going to get in trouble, and it's not going to be, you start losing money, and then it's not fun. So for basketball, I wanted to go ahead and start this show immediately. I should have done it way earlier, and I just didn't want to wait any longer. I feel like it's halfway through the playoffs, but we got to do it now. Since the playoffs started, I'm up over $200 just on these little same game parlays I'm doing on DraftKings. So I want to start sharing those with y'all, talking about it with my buddies, talking ball, talking gambling, having fun. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to do this every day during the NBA playoffs, that there is a game, and we'll review. Ooh, a bird just took a big poop outside of there. Right.
Nice.
Sorry about that. Maybe we'll edit that out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to try to review the games from the night before. We'll preview the games for today's games. And at the very end of every episode, we're going to give our picks. I'm going to always give a same game parlay pick according to DraftKings because they're doing a promo right now. We'll talk about that later. Tony's probably going to do more FanDuel. I'll have some other friends on. I'm not sure what they'll be doing, but we'll tell you always what we're doing. We'll tell you the odds. We'll tell you what we're using. So today we're going to talk the two NBA games today, the Heat, the Knicks, the Warriors, and the Lakers. First, we're going to review last night's games. But even first, let me let my buddy Tony here introduce himself. He's going to be joining me today. What's up, Tony?
Hey, bud. Thanks for having me on for the first ever episode. I'm more than honored to be here. Dawson and I we both did random roommates in college, and we ended up with each other, and it turned out pretty well, I'd say. Here we are 11, 12 years later, and we're still kicking and we're still good friends. So thank you again for having me. A little bit about myself. If you couldn't tell by the background and by my jersey, I am all Memphis all day. Grizzlies will always be my number one team. In fact, I spent some money to get this on my arm.
Yeah,
for all the Core 4 fans. That is Tony Allen, Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, and Zach Randolph. There were some really good years, and while none of those guys are playing with us anymore, we got a new core, and I'm really excited about the future we have here. Memphis Tigers, I also love them too. I'm named after Penny Hardaway, Anthony Hardaway, Anthony Smith. Pretty much the same thing. Thanks, Dad. I grew up going to Tiger games at the Pyramid, and then later on at the FedEx Forum. I was there almost every game with Derrick Rose, Chris Douglas Roberts, all those guys. Always a really, really fun time. Again, thanks, Dad. It's always my game partner. So it's fun watching sports with anybody, especially your old man. I'm sure Dawson can relate to that.
I grew up liking the Packers because my dad liked them too. I totally relate.
Exactly. Yeah. Same with me and the Yankees. My dad, he's old as hell. He said when he was growing up, there were two channels and the Yankees were normally playing on one of them. So he became a Yankees fan living in Tennessee. So, and when I was growing up, Derek Jeter was my homeboy. I love that guy. So
I agree with that. I love Jeter too. He was always, especially if you didn't follow baseball that much. I mean, the Yankees were always the best team.
Yeah. And people still say that they're the best team. I don't really care anymore, but they haven't been good in so long. Like, they've been good, but they haven't won.
I don't think they've won I don't know the last time.
You can't buy championships, folks.
Right.
You can't do it.
That's right.
You can try, but it ain't going to happen. A little bit about my betting history. As Dawson mentioned, it hasn't been legal here in Tennessee for too long, so I haven't been doing it too long. But while Dawson takes kind of more a analytical approach to it, I am more go with my heart.
Yeah.
That screws me a lot. He said he's in the green. I am not in the green. So if you take from this channel, even if it's going against what I say, do it. Whatever feels right to you. That's what I do, and it normally doesn't might work for you. So
numbers.
I like doing.
Your heart can lie.
Yeah, it lies a lot. One of my favorite things to do is making crazy 15 leg parlays in a single game. Like, this person get 10 points, this person get 4 rebounds, stuff like that. And I almost always come up one leg short or 2. Yes. So when I lose, I justify it in my head. All right, I just went to a bar and bought my buddy a beer. Whatever, who cares? Yeah. Is that a good mindset? No, but here I am. So
you just had fun watching the game.
Exactly, and it's also just more fun when you have a little bit of scratch on the game, so it makes it a little bit more fun to watch. Yep. So that's a good about me. I'll take it back to Double D.
Now, I like one thing we can talk about, because I'm calling this show The Hedge, because I'm all about hedging my bets. Whenever I have a parlay and I get 2 or 3 that hit, I'm like, let's hedge that. Let's make sure I win at least a little bit of money. And I don't know if the avid gamblers agree with that or not, but it works for me, so I love it. And again, it's probably my idea of being more cautious about it, But next time you got that 15 leg parlay and a couple of them hit, hedge that.
Hedge it.
But yes, all right, man. All right, so that's us. Thank you, Tony, for joining me. Really excited to get going. So last night, there were 2 games last night. We had the Celtics versus the 76ers. And then we had the Nuggets versus the Suns. I will say it's hard for me sometimes to stay up and watch those 10:30 games on the East Coast. But I did place a couple bets on the Celtics game. I walked away with $60 last night. Unfortunately, we didn't start the show yesterday. But so who knows? Maybe I'm lying, but I got the receipts to prove it.
Prove
it. But I had, and this is actually a good thing to talk about. So I use DraftKings and FanDuel the most because I love the promos they give. DraftKings right now is always, every single day, they give you 1 chance at a same game parlay. I think you have to put 3 legs on it. and if you miss it, you get your $10 back if you bet $10. But you only get that one a day. But that basically gives you 2 chances every day. You get the free $10 bet back. You can run it back, try something else again. And that's how I've been super successful. I miss a couple here, but then I'll hit I'll get my free bonus bet that I hit. And so last night DraftKings did a cool thing where they did 100% profit bonus. So I jumped on that, and so did Kelsey. On my wife Kelsey has her account. We both jumped on that with the Celtics -2.5, and it bumped it up with the 100% boost to like plus 195. So we each won about $20 there. I did a separate little bet with one of my free bets that I had missed the night before, and put it on the Celtics to win plus James Harden -22 or under 22.5. And that all hit pretty easily. So I had a good night last night. And I will say, I don't know if it's what it is, but I kind of like cheering against James Harden.
Playoff Harden, baby. You gotta love him.
And he's just one of those guys that, like, especially before the foul rules changed, I hated watching him. He made basketball boring, always getting fouls, just like trying to draw that fake little, get someone to hit my arm and throw the ball up in the air. I hated it. I couldn't stand it.
And also, you just extend the game by so much. Like, no NBA game should be 3 hours long unless it's like triple overtime or something.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like the most boring parts of the game.
Yeah.
Free throws, yeah. But anyways, so it was good to cheer against him. That hit. In terms of the game, it was a fun game to watch, especially if you were cheering for the Celtics. Every time the 76ers seemed to get a little close, the Celtics just would hit a big shot. Especially in that fourth quarter, man, Tatum took over on a couple shots there. Every time they'd hit a three, he'd come down, hit a fadeaway, or he'd hit a big three. I never felt like I wasn't going to hit it, honestly. It was a good night for those bets. And otherwise, Big Al Horford, of course, had a couple big threes, as he always does. So, do you have any takeaways from last night's first game?
Man, kind of piggybacking off what you said, James Harden, man, playoff Harden, even in his MVP days with the Rockets, he would have an incredible regular season, but then when the big moment came, he would kind of come up flat.
Yep.
And, he had some good games in the first round. They won game one on Harden's back without Embiid in the game.
Yep.
But it looks like he's going back to old Harden. A lot of people really dislike his game, and I'm not a fan of his game, don't get me wrong, but there are bigger villains in the NBA, I'll just say that. So Harden's kind of always been like, he's just kind of there.
I can see that.
If he wins, that's fine. If he loses, I don't care. But, man, that 1-2 punch they have in Boston is something else.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown, they've got it all. They got three-point shooting, inside scoring, they got defense, they got leadership. I really like that duo, especially them being so young and already been to the finals multiple times or the conference finals and everything. They're already one of the most experienced teams in the league, and their stars are young.
Yeah.
So I think that could really become a dynasty if they can keep those two guys happy, get the right pieces around them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Boston as the top 5 team in the NBA for the next 10 years. So.
Yeah, no, seriously. And Tatum's the big part. I don't know if they'll keep Brown. There's been rumblings about him.
Come to Memphis. I would love that.
Here's the recruiting pitch.
Yeah.
But I know they're great. And what you said, defense, their defense stands out to me big time. I love watching playoff NBA because defense steps it up.
Yeah.
And dude, 76ers didn't have any uncontested shots unless they were letting Embiid take like a fadeaway, free throw shot, which you live with that for sure. And he missed like all of them. So it would just, between Horford and Bob Williams down there and
Bob.
they're stout. So yeah, I could see them. I took a little flyer on them before the playoffs started. I think it was only like plus 300 for them to win it all. So if they do win it all, we'll win $30 there. But
yeah, and especially Milwaukee being out now.
That's
who's guaranteed to beat them.
Yeah, that's who I was cheering for. I like Giannis, so I was cheering for the Bucks, and I like Wisconsin teams. So
yeah, I like underdogs and I like chaos. So I say that the Grizzlies were the 2 seed, so I wanted them to win, but it is cool seeing a 7 seed advance and a 6 and an 8. I think the first time in history that a 1 seed through an
Yeah.
8 seed, one of each. I
I
think that's
saw
pretty
that.
cool.
That's pretty cool. I saw that too. I don't know who to give credit to on that stat, but I saw that too. There's a 1 through 8. That's really cool. Never happened. And
Yeah,
it's
it'd been
only
really cool if it
happened.
could have been Atlanta and Memphis as the 2-7, but we'll
I
get them
do.
next year.
I think that might happen. Maybe not specifically that, but I think 7, 6, 7, and 8 seeds will win more now that we have the play-in tournament because teams won't. They'll as long as I can get into the play-in tournament, I'll be okay. As long as so they might fall to that 7 or 8 seed type of thing. Like basically the Lakers. So, and honestly, the Heat, I feel like Jimmy Butler was like, I'm not going to play hard this season until we make it to the playoffs because I don't have I'm the only guy on this team that's good.
Seriously, that man. Speaking of putting the team on his back, oh my god.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later. That's coming up soon. The next game, I'm not going to talk too much about the Suns game. I didn't watch it the whole game. I watched like the first quarter, and then I fell asleep because it was all Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant was missing a lot of shots. I saw the box score; he scored a lot. But what was your takeaways?
Yeah. So, like you said, Durant, if you don't look at his shooting numbers, he had an awesome game. 39 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. That's pretty damn good. But he took 31 shots to get those 39 points. So definitely wasn't his most efficient game. He was really successful getting to the free throw line, 14 of 16. That's 16 is more than some teams take sometimes. So the fact that one guy got there 16 times, he was doing something right. So, and then Devin Booker, I love to hate the guy, mainly because of that time he scored like 70 points in the locker room and everyone's all happy, but they lost. It's like, no, who cares about personal stats? I want the win. But man, he got the win and the personal stats last night. 47 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, almost a double-double with 47 points. That's crazy.
That's impressive.
And he took 25 shots, 20 of 25, 80%.
That is maximum efficiency, dude.
Yeah, efficient as anything. So Murray had a good game. That was one of his bigger games in the playoffs so far. He's been a little bit quiet. Joker was the Joker. Another freaking triple-double with 17 assists, 17 rebounds, 30 points. How does he do that? Like, have you seen the guy? Like, me and him look similar, like, physically.
I know.
But he's an MVP, so.
I know, exactly. And he could, dude, seriously, just doesn't look like it, but plays. He's always, like, bleeding somewhere on his arms.
Yeah. He gives it his all. And, like, I've seen him play live and stuff. He is crazy. Yeah. Just his passing, like, even at 7 feet tall, I think he's the best passer in the NBA. Dude, I can't really think of anyone that's better than him.
Dude, last night live watching the game, while I was watching it, I was even thinking like, man, I got to get Jokic more involved. And Murray had a nice kick to him as he's driving the lane. I literally said, "Oh, there you go." And right as I said that, he just like boop, popped it off the wide open 3. I was like, "Oh, I didn't even see it." And just like, man, he's just heck of a ball handler. I mean, everything. And
he makes his teammates better. Like obviously, if you have a teammate that can find you cutting and pass it at the right time, that helps. And he's just so good at finding his teammates. It's unlike anything I've ever seen from somebody that's 7 feet tall. Like going back to the Grizzlies' core 4, Marc Gasol, great passer. He led the league with like big men and assists, but that was like 5 a game.
Yeah.
Joker's got 2 or 3 times that. So again, like nothing I've never seen before.
No, exactly, dude. If Murray can put it together, they need to start winning championships with Jokic because he's one of the best. All right. Well, that's a good preview there, Tony. Let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back. We'll do a little top 5 list. We know sports shows love a little top 5, and then we're gonna talk the games today. And then at the end of the show, we're gonna give you our official picks.
There we go. Right.
We will be right back. All right. Welcome back to the Hedge with Double D.
The Hedge with Double D.
Thank you for joining me again. Now we've got my buddy Dylan is joining us for the rest of the show. Dylan, give us a quick little intro about your gambling background and whatnot.
Yeah, so I'm a big college football guy. If it's coming down to, fading the Big Ten, I'm fading the Big Ten all year. Made a lot of money doing that last year. SEC guy, Tennessee, so I can pretty much break down those games. I might not win money, but I can definitely break it down for you. So I'm just happy to be here, Dawson. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us. That's perfect. That's perfect because I am a Big Ten guy. So we need an SEC guy.
Oh, God.
I'll admit, though, the Big Ten's not as good. I mean, but my team, I like Wisconsin. They're boring sometimes, but it's who I chose. And I'm loyal, you know.
Hey, shout out American Athletic Conference.
Hey.
Come on. This should be Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
They can take the Big Ten spot for all I care. I mean, the way they play.
Until they lose Houston. So.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati. Yeah. It's like the Conference USA again, but hey, who cares?
All right. Enough personal talk here. So we're gonna do our top fives. Every sports show's got to have top 5 lists. You know, it's just the way to go. So I'm glad. Thank you for joining me for this, Dylan. So we're gonna each give one at a time. Today's top 5 list is your top 5 favorite players left in the playoffs, in the NBA playoffs right now. So they can be on the bench, they can be starters, they can be stars, whatever, as long as they're still in the playoffs. So does anyone have any honorable mentions before we start? All right, I've got one. So let me start with that. The only person that I'm putting on here as like, because I'm impressed with their play is Kevon Looney. So Kevon Looney is my honorable mention. Rebounding machine, kick it back out, give it to Steph, get the ball, give it to Steph. You know, he's been fun to watch.
Absolutely. Kevon Looney is a great player. I mean, he's just surrounded by a bunch of good players. I mean, great players, but he's definitely one of the better role players in the game. Good honorable mention.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's good.
And I got an honorable mention too. It's a fellow Warrior. Honestly, I don't like this guy a whole lot, but his game, Klay Thompson. I know it's not like a crazy pick, but you know, the last couple of years, ever since he came back from injury, you know, he hasn't been as dominant as he was, but so far in the playoffs, you know, he's looking like old Klay, and I like his game. Yeah. So honorable mention Klay Thompson.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna get one. If you're all giving one, I mean, come on, let me get my. I don't know how this works, but I'm jumping there. Okay, so honorable mention. You guys might not like this, maybe you will, but James Harden.
We already talked about how we don't like him.
No, you're good. I'm coming off every time. So James Harden coming back with Embiid out that last game.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, he hit a couple of those step backs that he's so notorious for, and you know, obviously in his older age, yeah, it's just more impressive, man, to see. I mean, to see a guy drop. I think what was it, 45?
Yeah,
like that he dropped. Yeah, I mean, he dropped 45, and he's. I mean, you know, without his best player. So I'm going to do honorable mention James Harden for these playoffs. That'll be one that I'll throw.
I'll allow it.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, that's funny. That is perfect because we literally have already talked about how we don't like his game, but it's different. Okay. Now the fouls are different. It's a different game. He's more fun to watch. But
okay, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah. All right, so for me, my number 5. Really, when I was looking at the players still on the rosters, this guy was like, how is he still in the league? When I first started playing video games, he was always the guy I'd pick when I did my drafts. He was like my 9th pick. He was the power forward that could shoot threes you get for super cheap. Jeff Green. Yeah, not a lot of fanfare. Sorry.
I mean, Jeff Green, he's been there. He's been in the game for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, at one point I thought he was the missing piece for the Grizzlies to make that next step, but
that was crucial when he was there. I remember that.
But it didn't really happen. But hey, that's all right.
All right, and once we get more official of the show, we'll start adding sounders once we make our picks. So
okay.
Now it's just woo.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Good choice.
Okay. So my number 5. He's if you're not like an avid NBA fan, you're probably not or a Grizzly or 76ers fan, you're probably not super familiar with this game. But Mr. Do Something, DeAnthony Melton.
Okay.
The Grizzlies got rid of him last year in the offseason. We got him in the Danny Green trade, which we eventually got Luke Kennard for. So essentially we got rid of him, got Luke Kennard. I like Kennard's shooting, but man, DeAnthony Melton coming off the bench, he's an energy player. Last year at the end of the year when we had some injuries and resting before the playoffs, he came up big, and he's just a really great guy to have off your bench. Really good role player to have on your team. So number 5, DeAnthony Melton.
I like it. Dude,
Hey, where does he play? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sixers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching
he
this
had
closely.
4 big threes for them last night.
He's been big, but I thought that was Shake Milton for like the first 3 games.
Show some respect.
That's funny. All right, good choice. All right, Dylan, number 5.
Okay.
Wait, Dylan. Before you pick, I've got to pick the 2 that I think are on your list.
Yeah. Oh, Dawson goes to. Okay, yeah. Dawson wants to guess my 2. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I've got 2. You can say yes or no. It doesn't matter. But I've got 2 that I think are on Dylan's list because they were UT Vols. Grant Williams, Tobias Harris.
Okay. Well, you got me figured out with one of them.
Okay.
The other, and I'll just go on Tobias real quick. Tobias, go Vols. I mean, you see it behind me. You gotta love my squad, but. Tobias was not one of my favorite guys, especially in the NBA. I don't know. I mean, I love that he was a ball, but just being one and done, and it's we didn't have the success. So, but you are correct about Grant. You'll see where he comes in on my list.
All right.
So we'll come in. I'll do my 5 though. And I didn't go in any order. I guess I didn't, but my number 5 is going to be probably my most off the wall one, and that's going to be Andre Iguodala.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Andre Iguodala is one of the GOATs of the NBA. I talk about a locker room guy. I mean, I don't think he's actually expected at any point to enter the game at this point in his career, but he is not going to be leaving that bench. So
I think
just his presence.
Yeah.
Say what? Yeah, he's in street clothes. I mean, it's like a coach player combo, but he's just there to I saw him get in somebody's face the other day in a timeout. I'm like, okay, if this guy's going to come off the bench and so I'm going to just do that. My number 5 would be Andre Iguodala. Love seeing him. Hope he gets another championship with the Warriors. I mean, he's such a good level. Oh, come on. Yeah, come on, Tony. He's coming.
Tony's such a hater.
They're coming back.
I'm only shaking my head because of his tenure with my team.
Okay.
He refused to suit up. He refused to be a part of the team. He threatened to retire if we didn't trade him. So I'm biased.
I don't know his history of that.
Didn't he play with Iverson on the Sixers?
I think he started off with the Sixers.
I think
he was drafted by the Sixers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's that old. He played his first season with him.
Yeah. It sounds right. I mean, he was a huge. I remember he's a huge lottery pick coming out. So always liked him. But okay, all right, that's my 5.
Number 4 for me. I'm gonna go with Big Al Horford. You gotta love Big Al.
Florida guy,
SEC guy.
Okay,
but a Florida guy. Go on.
I'm not a Vols guy though, so it's okay.
We went to UT together.
I went for a year, Hey, I've still got back here. I've got the Beat Wisconsin sticker from when I went to the Wisconsin UT game when Wisconsin beat them. I went and got a beer, and the lady was like, "You got to take one of these," because I had all my Wisconsin gear on. And when I went back to get another beer, Wisconsin was up by 25, and I was like, "Give me another one of those." And she was like,
"Love me up." All right, break down Al Horford. Why Al Horford?
Big Al. The exact dude. He's just another old guy. He just always making big time shots. He's playing big time D. He's playing defense. He's always doing the dirty work. He doesn't get the credit. Big Al Horford. Again, these aren't my favorite players. These are the top 5 guys that are just making.
Are these the unsung heroes of the playoffs?
Sure. People that are making me smile when I see their name, they make me smile.
Well, if you give me that criteria, I would have maybe come a little different, but I'm sticking to my list.
What's okay? One of Tony's favorite players is someone he doesn't like, he said. So.
Oh, okay. So we're good.
So it's
actually good transition. My next player,
number 4.
Number 4 on my list. He just got done lighting up my team in the first round of the playoffs. Rui Hachimura.
Oh.
He's coming up really big for the Lakers. That midseason trade coming from Washington. It seems like he's really found a home in LA, and LeBron has really taken him under his wing. And he's been lighting it up. He's had a couple duds in the playoffs, but also game 1 in the Grizzlies series, especially, he dropped 29 or 30. It's like if someone off your bench is coming in, hitting all those shots, scoring 30 points, probably had a pretty good game. So Rui Hachimura, respect to him. I like his game a lot.
Nice. I like that. Good pick.
Yeah.
Can't say anything wrong
about Gonzaga guy, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, good player, good college player, man. He was a great player at Gonzaga too. So it's a good. I like him.
I like it.
Hey, Grizzlies front office, if you're listening, y'all should try to get him in the offseason.
Listen up.
All right, Dylan.
Am I up? All right, number 4. Okay. So my number 4, I didn't know we were doing unsung heroes. I thought we were just doing our no. So my number 4, and I'm gonna probably go into. Let me make sure. Okay. My number 4 is gonna be your boy Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that has been around the league and done some big things at multiple places. Love seeing him in the Bulls uniform a long time ago and kind of being that unsung, underrated guy. And he really embraced that role. And then just seeing him go to, Philly and then kind of coming up short. And, even though his play was excellent, and then going to the Heat. And I mean, he's got a championship with them. Or did they not win that year?
They lost.
No, they lost.
Yeah, the bubble.
So, the bubble. He was on the bubble in the bubble. So, yeah, Jimmy Bubbles is what I'll call him. But anyway, so Jimmy Butler, and I think he's going to come out tonight huge. So, y'all look later in the show for a Jimmy Butler pick. Little tease there. But I do love Jimmy Butler. Would love to see this Heat team go. I mean, they're just, great team, fun to watch.
I like it. I agree. I love his game. I think he gets every single call possible, but I still love his game. But I cheer for him because I usually bet on him to hit the over too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, he's money. He's money in the playoffs.
Seriously, dude. All right. Number 3. I've got another Heat player for different reasons. Bam Adebayo. Bam is my favorite because every time I have bet for him to hit the under on points, it has hit. So thank you, Bam, for not being very good this playoffs.
Solid reasoning. I love it.
Solid reasoning. Yep.
Profitable player.
Profitable. Yep. Exactly. Tony,
number 3. So I know my first 2 guys were bench guys. This one is a starter. The second best player on his team. Big game last night. Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
I know he's had some injuries in his career, and I love seeing him come into his own. I know it wasn't the most efficient game last night. I just love his game. I love tall point guards, that can guard multiple positions. And I just, again, love his game. I wasn't a big fan of him in college as a Kentucky guy because I hate Calipari. I hate Kentucky. So, but I have this thing. Whenever they come into the league, I usually start liking them just because they're good and fun to watch. So, number 3, Jamal Murray.
Nice. I like that. He's fun to watch. He was a bubble guy.
Yeah, I like Jamal, man. I'm Tony. I'll relate to you there, man. I know it's hard to like the Kentucky guys in college, but dude, I mean, like Jamal Murray, Devin Booker. I mean, there's so many good Kentucky players. I mean, somebody else that might come up soon. Okay, so number 3 for me. I'll go ahead and let's see. So number 3. Well, wait for that dog. Sorry. I was trying to read my list here. Okay, number 3. I'm gonna go with Steph. Steph Curry, man. So just a little history on my basketball gambling. So I really got into basketball gambling and during the playoffs with LeBron and Steph were going at it. And I actually, one of my biggest wagers at that time was $50 with one of my bosses at work. I was working at a pizza place and he was betting on the Cleveland. I was betting on Golden State. So that whole series I was locked in. I became a huge Steph fan that year. They actually didn't get it done that year. I think they had gotten it done the year before. They lost that year. But, just watching him at Davidson too. I mean, I just remember watching him as I think they were a 10 seed when they made that run in the tournament. And, Steph was lights out. I think he dropped 30, multiple games in college. So any guy that I liked in college and I've seen him just perform in the pros. So I'll go with my boy Steph. I know it's probably an easy pick, but
it's good. No, I feel like it's hard not to love Steph, dude. I mean, he's awesome. Yeah.
He changed the game.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, nothing like not to like about him. Really.
Yeah.
All right. Number two. I have another Heat, Cody Zeller. Only reason he's my favorite is because every time you see him out there, you're like, is he wearing non-slip waiter shoes? Like, is he moving in slow motion? Is he 54 years old? Like, so Cody Zeller makes me smile. Think it's hilarious watching him out there. Number 2.
As long as he makes you smile, that's what matters.
That's exactly.
So number 2 for me, this is a nostalgia pick. I love this guy. Speaking of guys that have had injuries all throughout his career, Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Big Memphis Tiger fan, as you can see behind me here. That 2008 team in college with him and Chris Douglas Roberts, Robert Dozier, all those guys, Joey Dorsey. That was just so fun to watch that tournament run, beating Chris Douglas Roberts dunking on Kevin Love in the Final Four, and then Joey Dorsey pointing and laughing at him after it happened. Man, that whole run was just so great. As a sophomore in high school, I couldn't have been happier. So I hate 2 of the best players to ever come out of University of Memphis or Memphis State. Penny Hardaway, Derrick Rose, some of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. If they just would have had better knees, if they would have had Megan Thee Stallion's knees, then it might be a little bit different right now. So number 2, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, the ultimate basketball reference there. Oh man. Hey, D Rose, man, that's a great one, and I completely. You're gonna have to, guys. You're gonna have to forgive me. Man, NBA knowledge is not as vast as y'all. So, where is Derrick Rose playing right now?
He's a bench warmer on the Knicks. He's hurt or something.
Oh, Knicks. Yeah. Okay. That's right. All right. So he's playing. Is he playing? He's playing behind. Is Quickly their starter?
Now Quickly's a
Brunson.
Brunson's a starter. Quickly's
Brunson.
Yeah, behind him.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'll do my number 2. Number 2 for me. I'm surprised this guy hasn't come up yet, man. I mean, this guy is one of the greats in the NBA. I'm talking about a guy that's been known to, perform at multiple places. We're not going to talk about maybe the most championships here because this guy's got 0. But I think the most deserving of a championship, and that's going to be Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul. He is a assist. I think he might. I don't know where he's at the all-time list. It's got to be up there, man. I mean, he's a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
On the assist all time. With them bringing in KD and obviously with Book and God, the other guy slipped my mind, but big man.
Ayton.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that trade, I said, Chris Paul, this is his year. I put a large bet on a Phoenix future. Not looking beautiful right now. They've had some, it's a little rough with where they're at right now in the series, but I love Chris Paul. So, I really hope that if I could see anybody win it, that's like a star that's kind of at the end of their career, it'd be CP3.
I like that. I can agree with that. It'd be nice to see him win one. He's been so close. And I don't have any reason not to like him. Has he done?
Well, I like the likable guys,
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad because I keep hearing these names and I'm like, no, I hate that guy. Chris Paul, because of his day with the Clippers, the Grizzlies and Clippers, they were rivals for a minute.
If anyone's Grizzlies, Tony doesn't like him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
If
Well, then
you've
you don't
ever
like
beaten the
anybody
Grizzlies
in
in
the
the playoffs,
NBA.
I don't like you. Sorry.
You've been a Grizzlies fan for more than 5 years, and you don't like anybody because everybody beat the Grizzlies
Whoa,
back in the day.
You're not wrong, but I don't like that.
But it hurts.
Hey, history, man.
All right. Okay, my number 1 player. Who's left? That's right. My number 1 player. This guy, his smile makes me smile. Every time I see this guy, he's got such a happy face. He smiles. Tyrese Maxey. He comes out. He just seems so happy. He puts a big smile on. I'm like, I like this guy. He just seems like such a happy little kid out there. So Tyrese Maxey, and he's really good. He's so fast. He can just blow by you for that quick little layup. It's such a fun. Reminds me of myself back in the day.
Back on the black top.
Back on the black. Me and Tony playing pick and roll.
Oh yeah.
Well, moving on to my number 1. He's already been said in a list. Dylan said Chris Paul's the most deserving guy of a ring that doesn't have one. I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Buckets on that. He is my number 1. Just seeing what he's doing, literally putting the team on his back, breaking Miami Heat playoff records when they've got big names like LeBron, D-Wade, Shaq. They've had all these great players. And Jimmy Butler's at the top of that on some of the stats. So I'm gonna go Jimmy Butler. I expect him to have a big game tonight, big rest of the series, and I just love his game. He's the hardest working dude in the NBA. I thought it was pretty funny when he left Minnesota, just criticizing all the young guys not wanting to work. Yeah, that's the kind of leader you want on your team, holding people accountable. So, my number one spot, Jimmy Bubbles, Jimmy Buckets, whatever you want to call him. So,
Bubbles.
Oh, and also I didn't mention I've met Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
my 10 years in restaurants like bartending and serving.
yeah.
The Heat were in town, played the Grizzlies one time, and he came into my restaurant. He wouldn't remember me by any means. We didn't have like a deep conversation, but he was very friendly. So, hey, if you're
going to see the podcast.
If you're friendly, yeah, I'll hit him up. It's actually funny. I do have John Morant's uncle's number saved in my phone, Uncle Phil. So maybe I get one of them one time.
He's not going to like us calling him Jimmy Bubbles.
If you treat your wait staff good, well, I like you. You're a good guy.
Nice. So. I like that too. All right. Did he tip well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not like outrageous, but like 20-25%. That's all we ask for.
You do what you do. Yeah, man. All right.
All right, me.
I think we know
number one.
Let's hear it, though.
I mean, Dawson coming in with the smile list. And now then he had to take my number one. Grant Williams. Got to go with my boy Grant. I mean, you talk about this guy is another energy guy. This is another coach that plays on the court. Watching him at UT, he led that team to, Sweet 16, but that domination of, Vanderbilt during the regular season, where he went off for like 36 and like didn't miss a free throw. Like these are moments that like I cherish in my mind. Now seeing him in the NBA, he's guarding Embiid in the playoffs. And I think last night, I saw him say something like they had him mic'd up and he was like, hey man, like no malice. Like, this is like, and
stepped on.
Yeah. Oh, he did?
Dude, Embiid was falling down and accidentally stepped on his head as he was laying on the ground.
Oh, I saw that. He's like
accidentally?
Yeah, it was accident. That's why
it was okay.
Saying like it's all good. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, honestly, hearing that in a Boston-Philly series, no malice. You're like, no malice. This is Boston-Philly, bro. Yeah. Like, come on, these guys are. This is it. This is the. So, anyway, Grant Williams, number one. Go Vols, of course, but definitely have to give my boy G. Will some love.
Yeah, I love it. I like that. I did not think he'd be as good as he is in the NBA.
He just keeps getting better, man. He's learned to hit those threes. He's learning to play his role. So
he can guard 1 through 5. He's so versatile. Like I like Grant Williams' game a lot.
All right, guys. That was fun. That was our top 5. Thank you all for joining. I know there was some people's were different than others. We've got about a minute left to our next break. Let's pick some horses. All right, we're back. Let's talk Derby. Let's talk horses. We got the attire. We're ready to go. All right. I'll go first. My horse that I'm picking. Let me pull it up. I've got Reincarnate. He opened this morning with 50-1 odds, and it's gone down to 13-1. So something's in the air there. Somebody likes him. The books are liking him. So I'm going with Reincarnate as my pick at 13-1.
Good. For my pick, I've been watching a lot of Modern Family recently. Shout out Phil Dunphy. I love my dad, but man, I wish he was my dad. 2 Phils. That's the name of the horse. 12-1 odds. Started 8 races, won 4 of them. Ooh. I think today might be number 5. Let's go 2 Phils.
Right. 2 Phils.
All right. Real quick, I'll do my pick. So I'm a big guy about confidence, and I just saw a horse named Confidence Game. He's 19-1, so a little bit more of a long shot. He's a 2-year-old horse, and he's actually won twice in 4 races. So he's definitely had some success. So I'm going to go with Confidence Game, 19-1.
Nice. All right, I like it. We've got a 19-1, a 12-1, and a 13-1. So either one of those win, you're going to be in the money.
Get it.
All right, y'all. All right. Well, thank you. That's our Kentucky Derby minute. My neighbors are looking at me a little funny with the hat on. I'm in my garage here, so.
My neighbor let me borrow her hat. So shout out Amy, great friend and great neighbor.
Tony used his neighbor's hat. Perfect. Yeah. All right. All right, y'all. Well, good luck on your derby picks. We're probably less confident on those than the NBA picks, so take a grain of salt with that, as they say. All right, let's move on to the NBA, the real stuff, baby. First game today, 3:30 Eastern time. We've got the New York Knicks visiting the Miami Heat. The series is 1-1 after the Knicks. You might even say they stole a game. It felt like they should have destroyed the Heat without Jimmy Butler, but they got the win. A win is a win. So, as a Knicks fan, I would be very worried. But again, it's 1-1, so you never know. We're just gonna quickly kind of run through these. I'm gonna say, I think the Heat have gone. I feel like it's crazy not to think the Heat are gonna win. It says Jimmy Butler is a game time decision, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he's gonna play.
He's playing.
Yeah, he's playing. Yep, I like it. He's playing. I think they're gonna win because he's gonna go off. I'm gonna let Dylan tell you the over under. I think he knows it more than me on the points right now. I'm not looking at it, but I'm gonna guess he goes over the points, whatever it is, because he's just I'll take it, whatever.
Yeah, his point total right now, we're sitting at 27.5. I hit that early. I expect that to go up to probably 28.5 before game time. Okay. As they see him come out of the locker room and start playing. So yeah, as soon as they see him on the court warming up, that total's going up. So if you want to get it now. But yeah, Jimmy B, man, I think the Heat as well. I'm just transitioned there, but I'll say the Heat as well are going to handle this 4.5-point spread. Playing at home, a lot of energy. They just handled the Bucks. The Knicks, I just don't have a lot of faith. I mean, Jalen Brunson's a great player, but so I'm going with the Heat minus 4.5, and also over on Jimmy Butler points 27.5.
Nice. All right, I like that. Tony, what you thinking?
I'm going to agree with Dylan on this one. I think the Heat are going to take care of business. They're back on their home court tonight. All they got to do is win at home to advance. I like the Heat to advance, an 8 seed in the conference finals. Who would have thought? But if there's a team for it, it's this one. Well coached. Eric Spoelstra, I've always had a lot of respect for him. He knows what to do in the big moments. So I'm going to agree with Dylan on the Heat covering the 4.5 and also over on Jimmy Butler's points.
All right.
I think he's been tearing it up this playoffs. Why stop now? So.
Yeah. I like that. If I'm doing a parlay, I think I'd keep like the 4.5 or maybe just pick the Heat to win. But if I'm just taking a flyer on like a one pick, I might even push that out to like the Heat -7 or 8.5. Like I think I wouldn't be surprised if they win by double digits. They just seem like a better team. The Knicks can't score. Unless RJ Barrett goes off again, which I don't know. But
another pick for the Knicks with points. I'm going RJ Barrett under.
All right, he's going RJ Barrett under. I think
with Jimmy Butler playing, he'll be playing defense on Barrett. And like you said, he's been having a good playoff so far. I think it's time for him to have a dud. So nice. I'm going to go RJ Barrett under 20.5 points.
I like that. We might see that in one of my same game parlays later on also. So we'll see. But I like that. All right. So, yeah, we're all on the Heat. We think they're going to cover it pretty easily. We like Jimmy Buckets to do well, Jimmy Bubbles to do well. And if I'm keeping my top 5 favorites, then I'm also going to go Bam under points, how I do.
Yeah, Bam under. I like that too with Jimmy B taking over today.
All right. Stuff looks like we're all in agreement, which usually is scary. So maybe even fade us all. We'll see. All right. Next game we got, and honestly, the game I'm more excited for. The Knicks are just not very fun to watch. They're so bad at offense.
Yeah.
So Warriors, Lakers. This has been a really fun series. It's only been 2 games, but it's been fun. The Lakers. I mean, I know Tony's doesn't like the Lakers, so they beat his team, but they're a fun team. Obviously, the Warriors are like one of the most fun teams ever, unless you just like don't like 3-point shooting, I guess. In which case, you're probably like 50 years old.
And you're a weirdo. So.
Yeah. No offense to the old heads out there, just kidding. But yeah, let's see here for this game, man. This one I'm so much more back and forth on. For my picks later on when I'm doing this, I'm only doing player props. I don't even feel confident about who's going to win. If I was, I might pick like the Warriors with like plus. I might like buy some points and get +5 or something like that, because I think if the Lakers win, it's going to be a close game. But I feel like if the Warriors win, it could be another blowout. Just with if they're hot from 3, they could kill you. So it's just but again, I don't feel confident on either of those. I'm thinking more points. I'm thinking he's burned me before, but I'm thinking Klay Thompson's finally not going to have a huge game. He's going to go under 24.5. That's my thought, but I don't know who's going to win. I'm not super confident. What are y'all thinking? Dylan, what you think?
For this game, so I do like this game. I do have no fear, Dawson. Have no fear. The Warriors are here. They are going to cover the spread. That you don't need the points. You don't need it. Just take the money line. I got it at plus 138 right now.
All right.
I mean, make some money. The Warriors are playing well. LeBron has, had a great, history. Good for LeBron. Not my favorite player, but, I think that this is not his time to shine. Jordan Poole and Clay, if they are playing well with Steph where he's at and Draymond, being involved, I mean, there's just too much ammunition. Anthony Davis, he's a good defensive player, but if he gets, slowed up a little bit and can't score, they're just going to be getting wrecked.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree. I've also got Anthony Davis on the over for points today because I feel like he's so back and forth.
Yeah.
He's going to have to score today. I mean, there's no other way for them to even be close. So
yeah, what are you thinking, Tony?
I'm going to piggyback on Dylan again. I think Warriors money line. You don't need the spread.
Let's go money line.
Yeah.
Let's get that juice.
Going back to what I said about the Heat, I just think they're the better coached team. They're the more experienced team, which is crazy with a team going against LeBron. But, they've been here, done that. I think it's just business as always with them.
Yeah.
Some of the props I like, though, like Dawson said, I like Anthony Davis going over tonight. If you look at his numbers in the playoffs so far, he's up and down, up and down. Last game he was down, so I expect him to go over the 24.5 tonight and lead the Lakers in scoring. Also, going back to our top 5 list, they are not respecting my guy Rui Hachimura. 10.5 points. Give me the over on that too. I think he's going to come in off the bench, play some valuable minutes, hit some big threes, and I think he'll cover that 10.5 no problem.
Nice. All right. I like those. Some bold picks, some fun picks, but honestly, I like them all. I mean, it's hard to pick against the Warriors. I would never confidently pick against them. But all right, our 2 games tonight. Those are unofficial picks. That's just kind of what we're thinking, what we're feeling. Now we are going to give you our official picks. I'm never going to call them a lock, but these are our picks. This is what we are actually rolling with. If you look at my DraftKings, this is what I am going to be betting on my DraftKings. $10. All of my bets are $10. I'm just putting that out there. Fun, responsible, having fun. $10 bets. You do you. But I'm going to keep track of all our bets, and I'm going to assume every bet is $10. I'll put a link to all of our bets and how we're doing eventually in the videos, so you can follow along and you can see how much money you would win or you would lose if you were doing the $10 bets with us. So maybe you want to follow us, you want to fade us. You'll have all the information you need. So for me, I'll go first. I'm doing DraftKings. I'm going to do all my picks on DraftKings. Kelsey is also doing her picks on DraftKings. She's not with us. She'll give me her picks on the side. I'll tell you what she's thinking. Kelsey, on DraftKings, on DraftKings, I mentioned this before. DraftKings is doing the promotional thing every day during the NBA playoffs. That is, you get if you bet up to $10 on a same game parlay, I think it has to have at least 3 legs. If you miss it, you get your $10 back and a free bet to try again, basically. So you basically get 2 chances. That's really fun. I love it. It's helped me. I'm killing it on it because maybe I missed that bet, but then I'll get a little bit more, I'll kind of go out a little bit more on a limb with my free $10 bet, and I happen to hit it, and it's at plus 400 or 500, and then you make all your money back plus some. So Kelsey first on DraftKings. Kelsey's doing the Knicks Heat game. She's trusting me with Bam. She's got Bam Adebayo. She's buying a little bit. She's got him under 18.5. She's got the Heat minus 2.5. And she's got RJ Barrett going under 21.5. So she's following all of us with that. And all 3 of those picks together are at a plus 310. So if you put $10 down, you get $31 back. So again, we got Bam under 18.5, Heat minus 2.5, RJ Barrett under 21.5 points.
Okay.
That's
very similar to what I got for that game too.
Okay, why don't you go then? Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. I got Heat covering 4.5. We already just talked about that. It's their night. RJ Barrett under 20.5. Right? Yeah. FanDuel
Tony's on
Sportsbook. That's
FanDuel.
that's my preference.
All right.
RJ Barrett under the 20.5 points, as I mentioned earlier, and Jimmy Buckets over 27.5. That 3-game parlay is plus 451. So
Nice.
$10 makes you $45.
Tell me that again. I interrupted you. Sorry. He's on FanDuel. Go with that again.
Yeah. RJ Barrett under 20.5 points. Heat cover the 4.5. Okay. And Jimmy Buckets over 27.5 for a combined plus 451.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so one thing, remember, Tony even talked about this. I am much more analytical in the stats. Tony follows his heart. You'll notice Tony's got better odds than me because he's not buying points. He's not doing the alternative spreads, alternative points are under and over. I love doing that. It just makes me, I love buying points. When I'm doing a parlay, I do, because it doesn't affect it as much as when you're doing single picks, and it just makes me feel better about my pick. But Tony's is going to have much better odds because his are all much more like at minus 110 for every pick, basically.
Wait till you hear my Lakers and Warriors one.
Oh, yeah. All right. Dylan, which game are you picking today?
I didn't put together necessarily a parlay, but
you don't have to.
One right now.
It doesn't have to be a parlay.
Okay. Honestly, I think this is an easy pick today, man. I mean, just straight up, just take Jimmy Butler to score 27.5. I mean, I don't know, win or lose the Heat. I mean, he's going to play well, I think. This is his moment. So Jimmy Butler 27.5 is my pick on that game.
Nice. I like that. I like that too. I'm tempted to change my Bam pick to Jimmy over, but I think I'm going to keep what I got. I might even do a separate pick like that, just a single Jimmy Buckets over and the Heat to win. But I like that. All right. For my pick, my DraftKings pick, I did the Warriors-Lakers game. So for my 3 picks, again, remember, I got to do 3 picks to get your money back. So I always pick 3 picks, even if I only feel confident really about 2. I'm going to pick 3 because I like that. You get your money back. It's more fun that way for me. I've got Klay Thompson under 24.5 points. I feel like he's not going to hit 8 threes tonight. I've got Anthony Davis over 23.5. Like we talked about, he was bad last game, so he should be better this game. And I've got Jordan Poole to hit 2 3-pointers. I think if Klay is not hitting, hopefully Jordan Poole is hitting. So those 3 picks together will yield you a plus 350. So you'll make $35 with a $10 bet.
Good stuff.
All right. Anybody else? Are we done? Any more picks? Anything else?
I got one. You got one, Tony?
Yeah,
I got one more too. You go first, bro.
Awesome. Warriors, Lakers. I got Warriors money line. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna go take care of business on the road, steal that game back. Anthony Davis over 24.5. Again, up and down. He's up tonight. And then, like I said, Rui Hachimura, big off the bench, plus or over 10.5 points. Those 3 picks will get you plus 1,009. So $10 will make you $100.
Yeah, I like that. Nice.
Juicy.
All right.
Awesome. I'll go quickly here. Just a quick parlay that I'm looking at. I'm going to ride with the Golden State Warriors money line. I'm gonna parlay that with their team total of 112.5. I see this game. I'm on the over, not officially, but I'm on the over 228. I see this game being a 125, 126 Warriors to 108, 110 Lakers. I really do think it's going to be they're going to go the distance. I don't see how there's any way they don't score over 113 points. Really don't. So that's my pick, money line. That will give you plus 176. That's money line Warriors, and over 112.5. That's on FanDuel.
Nice. All right, y'all. Well, good luck with your picks. Remember, be responsible. And if you are doing a parlay, don't forget, hedge those picks.
Always hedge.
Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Thanks, guys. Good to see y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all.